Now for the next question. In as a girl.
What about this? Don't you want to know when I was born?
I'm gonna do that next.
Go in order.
Okay. Birth. What day, year, and place were you born?
And do I have other siblings? Do you know what a sibling is? Okay, Matt. I was born on September 19th, 1958, and I have no idea how big I was, how long I was, how many pounds I was. I don't have a clue. I can tell you a funny story about when I was born, though.
Okay.
Back in those days, the mommies went to the hospital, and the daddies didn't have to go into the hospital room with them. It was just the mommy and the doctors. So Grandma went to the hospital, and your grandpa, my dad, came home from work. And my grandma and grandpa, your nanny, told him that Elaine's at the hospital having the baby. So instead of going right to the hospital, you know what my dad did? He had dinner first because he had to fill his belly, and then he went to the hospital. So what else do I have to tell you? I have 3 younger sisters. I'm the oldest of 4 girls. We're all between 2 and 3 years apart, and we didn't fight half as much as you and Michael fight. And I guess Erica used to scooch me a lot, just the way Michael scooches you, but I didn't really fight with Eva and Ellen. Anyway, Erica is the next one, and Eva is the one after that, and Ellen is the baby. And Ellen is about 8 years younger than me. Eva's about 6 years younger than me, and Erica's about 2 years younger than me, 3 years younger than me. So those are my siblings. What else do you need to ask me?
Do you know why your mother and father gave you your name?
I've always wondered that question because I've always hated my name. Because when I was a little girl, there used to be a character called Elsie the cow that used to advertise Borden products and Elmer's glue products, I think. And Elsie the cow was pretty big and fat. And when I was a little girl, I was big and fat. And the kids used to make fun of me by calling me Elsie the cow, so I always hated my name. I don't know why my parents picked my name. I think you need to ask Grandma that question, because it's not an Italian name, it's a German name, and I'm not German at all. I'm Italian 100%, so it's quite unusual. It starts with an E because it matches Grandma's first name that starts with an E. And all my sisters have names that starts with E. So we all match. But I don't know why they picked that name for me. Got another question?
One more.
And then we'll break for today?
Okay.
We'll finish tomorrow? Okay.
Whom did you resemble?
Oh, that's a good one. I resemble my dad. I sort of look like him. I have his schnozola. And I have more of his physical characteristics than on Grandma's side of the family. So I resemble my dad. Now, Aunt Erica, I'm not sure who she resembles, what side of the family she takes after, but Aunt Eva definitely resembles Grandma's side of the family, because Aunt Eva looks very, very much like my great-grandma. She would be your great-great-grandma. She looks like her a lot. And Aunt Ellen looks more like Grandpa's side of the family. So everybody has different characteristics. And you sort of resemble me. So you got some sensorio in you. So should we finish? We'll finish tomorrow?
Can I just do one more section and then we'll call it done?
For good done? Okay, come on over. Well, don't you want to ask? You want to ask me some of these? What about this? Don't you want to ask me that stuff?
Where did your family live when you were growing up?
Well, I lived in lots of places. When I was first born, my mom and dad lived in a small apartment, in an apartment building. But I don't remember that. I was too little. Then we moved to another apartment in an apartment building, and these were both in the Bronx in New York City. And I remember that apartment building because we lived up on the top floor, I think. We're pretty close to the top. And all the windows had these big iron grates on them so the kids wouldn't fall out the windows. And I could look out the kitchen window and I could see kids playing down in this little grassy area down underneath on the opposite side of the street. And a game that we used to play, the kids in the building used to play together, is we used to take balls and roll them down the stairs, all the way down. If we threw them really hard, they would bounce all the way down all the flights of stairs, and we'd see how far they would go, and the one who went the farthest was the winner. We had no backyard there. There was no swings in our backyard. We had no playroom. That apartment had a kitchen, a living room, and 2 bedrooms. Very small. And that's where I lived till I was about 4. And then we moved to a small house right near there that had a very teeny tiny backyard. Its backyard was probably the size of this family room. And in that backyard, we dug a hole under the deck to go to China, and we planted a fig tree with fish heads going in the ground to give it fertilizing. My grandpa did that. And it grew big, giant leaves and had big, luscious figs on it. And every winter, Grandpa, your grandpa, my daddy, used to wrap it all up so it wouldn't die during the winter. And we had a swing set in that backyard. It was a small swing set. It just had a group glider on it where 2 kids could sit on one side and 2 kids could sit on the other. It didn't have individual swings, and it was a metal set. And we used to go so fast and so hard on that the legs of the swing set would pop up out of the ground and then thud back down as we hit the bottom. We also used to sit on our skateboards and go down the sidewalk in front of that house really fast and make a lot of noise like a big freight train. Right in front of my house was all concrete. There was no grass in front of my house. My house was right up against the sidewalk. You would come out of my front door and the sidewalk was right there. And then there were a couple little trees, and then there was the street. Nowhere to run, nowhere to jump. A city. We lived in a city, and we lived on a hill. So it was even hard to ride your bicycle because there was lots of cars. And cars would park right in front of your house because we lived in the city. And it was hard to play there. My good friends there, I had a good friend down on another side of the block. And my address there, I remember it was 2012 Colden Boulevard in the Bronx, New York. And my good friend on another part of Colden was Francine Fine. And I liked her a lot, but I don't know what happened to her. I had another good friend. Her name was Nina. I remember her. We were in school together. And Carmela. I remember Carmela, too. I know that Carmela went on to the High School of Arts and Sciences in New York City, and she's probably doing something really famous because she was pretty talented. Around the block from me, up around the corner, lived the Turkowitz boys. And they always had colds, and they always had green mucus coming out of their noses when we would play with them. And it would be sort of disgusting. But we liked playing with them. Neil, Aaron, and Joel. I remember their names. This was a long time ago, Matthew. I was about 6 years old. And we would play behind their house. There was an empty lot behind their house. But a lot of people used to dump things there, like garbage and stuff. And one time we were all playing back there, a bunch of kids, and we found this big giant metal pipe, and we decided to lift it up, and then it fell, and unfortunately it fell on my foot. And I had sandals on, and it made my toe get all black and blue underneath my toe, and then my nail fell off. It was really gross. And I remember I showed everybody how my nail fell off, and everybody thought it was disgusting.